Hello YouTube, it's me KT and welcome to another video. Today, you're watching the second recording of this. I already filmed this yesterday and I really like the things that I said. I feel like I wrapped up the situation nicely. But of course, and naturally, my camera microphone stopped working in the middle of the recording and I sounded like a robot in a washing machine. So we have an auxiliary mic and we're trying this again today. So first and foremost, before we get too much into things, I want to really quickly address the elephants in the people who have been watching me for a second room. First off, this video is not going up on Saturday morning like my videos have for the past year. That is again because of the microphone problem. I'm recording it right now on Saturday morning, so there is no way that it could be posted right now. Are you following? And secondly, as I kind of just hinted at, all last year, all 2022, I uploaded a video every week, almost always on Saturday, for you guys' enjoyment. And I want to thank you for that year. We more than doubled the amount of people on this channel, and I am nearly a third of the way to being able to monetize my channel. As you can tell from the title, maybe making some money off of YouTube would be a little bit important to me right now. So if you think you will enjoy this video, if you've enjoyed my videos in the past, or if you just want to give me a little bit of help, maybe click that subscribe button. And also, if you have time, scroll down a pinch, leave a like, leave a comment, share this with a friend, anything to let the YouTube algorithm know that people enjoy my content so that I can get a little bit closer to that goal of 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for last year. It was really fun. I enjoyed uploading for you all. I don't know if this year will continue on with the pattern of uploading every single week. Originally, I was going to say it isn't, but now I kind of don't have anything else to do, really. But I don't know. So you'll get videos and you get videos. If it's not every week, I'm sorry. But again, I've been here for 5 years and I still don't make any money off of it. It really is a hobby, and there's no reason why I should have to do my hobby at a certain time. You know what I'm saying? Okay, with that being said, let's get into the main topic of this video, the meat and the potatoes that you came here for. I got laid off my full-time job, and, well, I guess that's okay. So what happened? Let me take you back to a couple of months before the official layoff, and then I'll tell you what happened the day of and give you, all the tea, all the details, all the juicy bits. To those of you who have been online or been paying attention to stocks or social media, LinkedIn, anywhere really, you may have noticed that in the past year, there have been a lot of companies, both mom and pop and major corporations, doing tech layoffs, doing entertainment layoffs, and doing the less talked about but still prevalent real estate layoffs. I, to those of you who didn't know, was a graphic designer at a real estate agency. So when it became prevalent that other brokerages were having trouble making their numbers, Zillow had their whole crisis when there were all of these mass layoffs at other brokerages, I started to think maybe mine would be doing the same at some point. So this planted the first seed of doubt into my mind that maybe, just maybe, layoffs were coming. But there were also reasons I thought they weren't coming, which we'll get to. So first that happens, and I'm like, okay, something to pay attention to. And once you start paying attention to that, I started to see more of the market and how real estate was not doing too hot. The market has been slowing down for the past 6 months or so, maybe a year, honestly. No, 6 months to a year, something like that. The market has been slowing down, but I didn't work in real estate prior to 2020. Right? So we see 2020, the crash, we see the 2021 boom, and 2021 is when I started. So I started in the middle of the boom to help with volume. I see the market coming back down, but to me, it's not like it's disappeared. Houses are still getting sold. It's just taking longer than it used to take. But how much it used to take is what it took. Is more than it took in 2020. And there weren't any layoffs in 2020. So I thought, okay, if we made it through 2020, I don't see why we can't make it through 2022. I guess the market is slowing, but it's basically slowing to where it used to be before this insane boom. So this should be par for the course, right? This should be what we expected to happen. Apparently, this is not what we expected to happen. But yes, I did notice the market was slowing, but I wasn't too worried about it, but I was kind of worried about it because of the layoffs. I don't know. It was giving me signals. It was giving mixed signals. Then in July, it was time for my 1-year review at my company. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and my boss never scheduled it. And so I was like, hey, boss. I say boss because there's multiple levels of hierarchy at my job. So boss, is like above my boss, but still my boss, because like we still talk on a day-to-day basis. But anyway, so I was like, hey, boss, are we going to do my 1 year review? Maybe. And we finally had it a month or two late. And even after that month or two of extra buffer time, they still had to tell me the unfortunate news during my review that I would not be getting a raise. And as you guys know, inflation has been inflating this past 6 months or so. Inflation has been inflating. So hearing I wasn't getting a raise wasn't really too hot, wasn't really too helpful, wasn't really too handy. And it lended more to the idea that potentially there would be layoffs. And it also lended more to me affording my life being a bit more difficult because inflation had inflated. So at that point, I started applying to jobs. At first, I was applying to freelance jobs, part-time, contract work, things I could do on the side of work. But eventually I figured, well, if my job isn't paying me what I need to be paid to live, I mean, not to live, but like to get done everything I need to get done, maybe I should find another job that will pay me everything I need to get paid to get done what I need to get done. So I did also start applying to full-time positions. I wasn't really ready to leave my company. I did really enjoy it there, but it was something to do. It was something on the side to definitely think about because I'm not getting a raise. The market is not doing too hot. Other companies are doing layoffs. It's just not looking very good for y'all. So I was applying to jobs. But then time just kept passing. Months went on and on and on. And if enough time passes and nothing happens, you might start to think, well, maybe that thing I was afraid of just isn't going to happen. Goofy. But anyways, I started to think, maybe we've sorted it out. Maybe they've got a solution for us. Maybe they've done something. A lot of the marketing, I'm in the marketing department, a lot of the marketing at that time to our agents, which are kind of like our clients, was, yes, the market is slowing down, but it's okay. We've got it under control. We're keeping a close eye on things. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Every week we would release market updates. And if ever the market went down, it would go from calling it a strong seller's advantage to a slight seller's advantage. So it's not like, it's not down. It's just, it's not that big of a deal. Everything, all of the messaging was, it's fine. It's bad, but it's fine. And, when you hear that messaging all the time, you know that there is an issue because it was kind of like they were trying to gaslight the agents. Like, we're all ignoring the elephant in the room of like the market crashing at the moment. So when you hear that messaging, you know that it's a bit of an issue. But it had just been so long. It had just been so long of hearing that I guess I started to believe it a little bit. And I was like, you know what? Maybe they do have a plan. Maybe they've got something cooking. Then we had a meeting to discuss the company's 4-year plan. And the main plan was to expand the company to more than double its current size as far as the number of agents and the number of like co-brokerages within us. And so I thought, well, if they're planning to expand that much, they understand that that's going to be more work for every department, more work for accounting, more work for marketing, more work for IT, more work for everybody. So if they're planning to expand that much, they must also be planning, me being goofy, must also be planning to maybe hire another employee or two to help with some of the overflow of all of this work. So maybe we'll be good. Like if they're really planning to grow that much, surely they have a plan to grow that much. Goofy. All this time that I had been applying to new jobs, I wasn't getting any hits. I wasn't getting any bites. I wasn't getting any interviews. Nobody was interested in me. So around the holiday time, like probably November, I stopped applying. I decided to give it a little bit of a break because it just wasn't going very well for me. And I still had a job. I had had a job for several months after I was worried I wouldn't. So I thought maybe, it was also that we'd worked with a sort of marketing consulting firm to figure out our new brand image, not new, but like to reform our brand image. And we came up with this idea that pushed the brokerage being a great place to work. And that's something that's kind of important when your job is to recruit agents and make them think, we're going to help you, we're going to get you to make a lot of money, we're going to be super nice to you, super helpful to your growth, we're going to be a fun place to work. So you would think for a place where being a good place to work is a pillar of how they make money, you would think that maybe keeping employees on, even in times of economic downturn, is still important enough to the overall business model that maybe my job wouldn't be at risk. So that's what I went into it with. I kind of sort of thought that layoffs might happen, but I also kind of sort of thought that they wouldn't. But then came the day of the layoff. Thursday. I went into work. It was a normal day. I even trained the team on how to use a new program. I'm not saying they had me do it today on purpose. I'm just saying that that's what happened. And it was just a typical day. But then, about 2 hours before we were supposed to leave, my boss came in. And my boss was on vacation all week. So I'm like, what is boss doing here? But sometimes they do come in early from vacation. So I was like, okay, I guess they got back and boss wanted to get into it. Sure. So at work that day was me, my coworker, boss, my project manager, and downstairs there is like we'll call it outreach. So there was the outreach manager and then her like aide, so outreach aide, but she was also kind of part of marketing because she helped us with our social media. So she was like a double aide, the outreach and the marketing aide. So there we are. And my boss, I guess, chats or has a little chat like on the side with our project manager and is like, hey, go home. So the project manager leaves. And typically the project manager does leave early, but not that early. So I didn't think they were gone. I thought maybe they went on a walk, maybe they went to lunch, maybe they went to check on their dog. Like, I don't know, but it didn't seem all that strange to me. Outreach manager comes upstairs to do nothing, to just sit there. Outreach manager comes upstairs quite often, but I didn't think, like, usually that they have a purpose, they have a drive, a pretty urgent drive where it's like, hey, we need you to design us this like literally right now. So I guess I could have thought it was a little weird that outreach manager was just sitting there, but goofy. I go in the back, I'm doing my typical stuff. Outreach manager comes, hey, boss is looking for you in the conference room. Boss, I don't have any meetings scheduled with boss. Okay, I guess. So I put my headphones off, put my phone down, head down to the conference room, and there is boss and the lead of accounting. This person probably has like a C title, COO or something, but someone up there in accounting. I've spoken to this person maybe 3 times. So I'm like, what are they doing here? And it was giving very much, this is a meeting. So it didn't feel good to me to be pulled into a meeting by surprise. That usually doesn't mean something good is happening. So I sit down. I'm like, hello, boss. Hello, accounting person. Let's go. What's going on? And they tell me I have to get laid off. And like I said, this isn't anything I expected, like that day, that moment, but it was something that I had been thinking about for the past few months. So I was able to handle it pretty well, honestly. I didn't want to tell them that I saw it coming. I don't know, that just felt kind of weird. But I saw it coming, so I was just like, okay. I knew that if layoffs were to happen, I would be one of the first people to go, simply because I'm a junior employee, and a lot of the reason that I was brought on was to help with overflow and to manage high volume. If there's no volume, you don't really need me. So I knew that it would be me, if anybody. So, I signed a little contract, get my severance check, and start packing up my stuff. What I did not expect was to have the outreach marketing aide also get let go. Did not expect that, because if the company is planning to expand all this much, I figure outreach is going to need as much help as they can get, but apparently not. So now it's just the outreach manager. They don't have an aide. I don't know how they're planning on doubling the company in size without any additional help, but okay. And I also didn't expect my coworker that I was there with that day to get let off, but they did. And essentially with them, there were 2 people who worked the same position that they could have chosen between. And I kind of understand why they chose the person they chose to let go of, but I also see reasons why they should have kept them. And I can see how it could definitely be surprising to them. And also, like, that person is older than me. They have a wife. They have a mortgage. There's things that need to get taken care of. So it just felt really bad, honestly. And I wish them the best. I hope they find something new very, very soon. It just felt really bad. And I'm sure that the company didn't enjoy having to do that, but I just didn't enjoy thinking about it. Like, that's... especially because the person that they kept hadn't been working there as long. Not that that's the only thing that matters in how you get kept at a company, but it just felt a little rough. So honestly, them getting let go made more of a statement to me than me getting let go, simply because I had seen this coming for a couple of months. And so that brings us to how do I feel? How did I feel? And I'll say in the moment, I felt fine. Like I said, I had seen it coming. It wasn't that big of a surprise to me. I felt fine. I was like, okay, I'm getting let go. Surprise, surprise. Somebody call Oprah. I packed up my stuff. I drove home. I was fine. I was honestly talking to myself about it in the car. I was like, this is a bit different. But the further on the night went, the further on the days went, since it's been a couple of days now, I started to just feel very frustrated by the whole thing, because it's just not what I planned. It just throws a wrench in a lot of things. It makes life a little bit more inconvenient, and I'm just a tad annoyed. It's like you dedicate a lot of your time to your job, at least 40 hours a week, every week. And so to just suddenly be told, like, hey, this place where you come 40 hours every week and you talk to the same people every week and you dedicate 5 out of your 7 days to doing this, you can't come here anymore. It's weird. It's a weird thing. Like, I'm not going to cry about it, but it's just like, but that's what we do. It's just strange. And it's frustrating to know that, like, it's the new year. It is January 7th when I'm filming this. Is it? Yes, January 7th. It's literally the new year. I just had this reflection on 2022 and my New Year's planning. There is a video up about that if you want to go and check it out. And I'm just getting into this new moment. So to have planned to do all of these things and know now that these plans are not going to happen, it's just like, I was planning to take a gymnastics class. It's $100 a month. And I'm like, well, it's a good thing they told me about the layoff before I freaking paid for it. Hello, the camera died. But yes, as I was saying, I was about to sign up for a gymnastics class. So I'm happy that I didn't end up paying for that before I got laid off. I just bought a sewing machine and some materials. You can see a scoop of fabric there, because I wanted to start sewing. But it's like, I did get it secondhand, so it wasn't that expensive. But it's like, sewing is kind of an expensive hobby for me to be taking up right after getting laid off. All of my savings plans, all of my vacation plans. I was planning to go home in March. I don't know if that's going to happen. Everything is just up in the air, and it's frustrating, to say the least. And so that's where we reach our next question, and our final question that you have to ask yourself when you get laid off. What's next? My TLDR answer is that I don't know what's next. I feel like literally just a couple of weeks ago, I made a whole plan for this year and everything that I wanted to do. And if there's anything that 2020 taught me, it's that your plans don't always go to plan. Things don't always happen the way that you want them to happen. But what I had planned to do was basically just keep doing what I was doing. I didn't think that even that would get pulled out from under me, I didn't want to get too much into the plan, because I didn't want to upset my job at the thought of I'm planning on leaving at some point. But now that I don't have a job, I guess I can tell you, I have wanted to, since freshman year of high school, go on a trip and see more of the world. What I want this trip to be has evolved over time, but essentially for the past 10 years, I've wanted to go to a bunch of destinations and be able to see the world a bit more. So I decided 2020, originally I decided that I would do that after graduating college, but I graduated in 2020. So obviously I wasn't going anywhere, but now that things are open, now that things are better, I decided to jump on this opportunity before it runs too far away from me. So my plan was to take this trip in the summer of 2024. So 2023 was supposed to be a year of saving up, not only for the trip, but for some other financial goals, and to make sure that I would be able to get my life sorted after I come back from the trip. So I was just going to be working, grinding, collecting my coins. I was also not going to put so much emphasis on looking for a new job, because I want my trip to be long enough that it would require me to quit my job. If I had stayed at my job until mid-2024, then I would have been there for 3 years. And 3 years is enough, if not more than enough time, for a junior employee to move on or move up. I knew that there probably wouldn't be any opportunities for promotion at my job, just the way things are set up. And I also knew even if there was an opportunity for promotion, I wouldn't necessarily want it. I'm still early in my career, and I don't want to get too bogged down in one company that does things one way, where I only have one specific set of tasks. This is still a time for growth and learning, and you can only learn so much being around the same people, doing the same things. So at the 3-year mark, I would have quit my job, taken a trip. I have several ideas, but it would be somewhere between 1 and 12 months long. So that's quite the range. But I would take a long-term trip and then come back, figure out what I want to do with myself next. Do I want to prioritize traveling more? I just went on this trip. Do I feel like I got that out of me? Or do I want to go like teach English in Thailand for 6 months? Do I want to get a remote job so that I can keep traveling? Do I feel a bit burnt out from traveling? Do I want to settle down now and like pick a less expensive city to live in and work out of? Do I want to go back to LA and continue to explore that realm? I felt like getting out for a while would kind of give me the perspective I need to finally figure out what I want to do next, what kind of jobs I want to go for, what kind of working environment I want, and what I'm looking for long term. Well, now that I am suddenly jobless, I have to figure out what I'm looking for right now. I only just started saving for the trip, really, so I don't have enough money to just take it now and be like, I'm just going to run away. If I do that, like I could do it, but it would put me in a bad situation when I came back. And I don't want to write myself into a corner, you know? So I'm left with having to figure out what I want to do next for my career. And the honest answer is that I don't know. I could continue on with my trend of graphic design and try and move up from a junior position to a full graphic designer position. I could pivot into motion design, which is something, it's basically graphic design for video. I could go to a boot camp and start doing UX UI design, which pays amazingly and is pretty similar to graphic and motion design in certain ways. I could go to school and get my master's in business administration that I do not want, but my parents keep telling me every couple of months that I need to have for some reason. So maybe this is the universe trying to push me to do that. Maybe I should run away to Thailand anyway and screw it if I don't have enough money when I get back. If there's a will, there's a way, and I'll just figure it out, I guess. Maybe I should start freelancing and try and do a little bit of everything so that I can test my interests that way and not really worry so much about saving enough money for the trip or my other financial goals or retirement or health insurance, or just not really worry about being financially secure right now and just float around. I've also been considering trying to get into animation as a storyboard artist. I've wanted to do that for years. I kind of gave up on it when I accepted that I was just going to stay at my job for another 1.5 years and save. But now that I don't have a job, that option is falling back on the table. It's just like I can do anything. I can literally go out and do anything. And it's also, I don't know what I want. I don't know what's important to me right now. I don't know what will be important to me in 10 years. I don't know what I want to dedicate my time to. And it's just, again, frustrating to have to figure this out now when I had a plan to figure it out that just made more sense for me and worked for me better. I don't put a lot of weight on them. I don't really even believe them that much. But the day you get laid off, you see a video that you'd been avoiding pop up again, and it just calls to you. So I ended up watching a tarot reading, and although they're not like a pivot in my life, it was a full life reading about finances, work, and love. And in the finances and work section, it basically made it seem like there would be a surprise. This was a surprise. And I could enjoy it, but not to relish in it too much, to make sure I don't lose focus of what I was doing. Because another thing is, like, I don't really want to work. I don't really want a job. Like, just thinking about getting another job just to wait it out 1.5 years to go on my trip, it feels off, because you don't want to have 2.5 years on your resume back to back and then an employment gap. It just makes it look like you're not really dedicated to anything. And I was open to being dedicated to my job, but they let me go. So it just makes it look like you're not really dedicated to anything. And I feel like it'll be harder for me to get jobs when I get back from the trip if I don't secure a company to work with and stay there longer. So should I push off the trip even more that I've already been pushing off for 10 years? I don't know. And so I kind of don't even want a job, because it feels like it's just going to create more problems in a certain way. And like, what if the time for the trip comes, but I'm still enjoying my job and I'm not necessarily ready to leave? You know, it's not like it's minimum wage food service where you hate it after the first day. I might really like it and have to let it go to do something else that I really like as well. But I don't know, like, it's just confusing it's confusing, and I don't know what I want. I don't know what I should want. I've tried watching videos and like, here's what to do if you get laid off, and all of them are just like, spruce up your resume and apply to jobs. And I'm like, what jobs? When? Where? How? Why? I don't know. And I think I just need a little bit of time. So I'm taking some time, at least a week, maybe 2. Just some time to just sit with myself and my thoughts and my existence. You know, maybe I'll go grocery shopping at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday because I have nothing else to be doing at that time. Maybe I already bought it, so I guess I'll get into sewing and make some stuff. I just want to chill for a little bit and kind of recuperate because I don't know what's next. I don't know anything. I don't know what direction to go in. I don't know what I want. I don't know what would be best for me financially. I don't know what would be best for my career. I don't know what would be best for my personal fulfillment. So I just need to take some time. So for a little bit, I'm not going to worry about it. I have enough savings that I don't need to clamor to find a job right now today. Like, I'll be okay for at least a few months. So I think just taking a couple of weeks off to kind of give my brain a break and think more deeply about what is important to me and what I want to do with my career is a good idea. And then hopefully, once I figure out what direction I want to go in, I can get headed that way quickly enough that I'm not job searching forever. But the job search also doesn't feel too optimistic to me because, again, I was applying to jobs before I even got laid off and I couldn't get an interview anywhere. So it just seems like I'm not a very desirable candidate right now. So I just don't know. I don't know. I think I said in my 2023 plans video that 2023 was going to be my year. And I think it still can. I think ultimately this is just an opportunity to pivot. And I wasn't really paid that much at my job, honestly. So I'll probably, wherever I go, I will probably end up making more. So it's probably also an opportunity for growth. So ultimately it'll be a good thing. It's just right now, it's throwing off a lot of what I had intended. And although that happens, you know, sometimes life goes a bit off course. That just because I know it happens to other people doesn't make it any less confusing or frustrating for me in this moment. Has anybody else been laid off recently? I know a lot of industries are not doing too hot. So if you are feeling this frustration or confusion, or if you've already got a new job and you came out of this point, maybe leave a comment. Let us know your experience so that the other silent watchers who are going through the same thing can, you know, have someone to listen to who maybe understands them a bit. I don't want to end this on a sour note, so I will say, honestly, there's like 2 levels to how I feel. And the bottom level is frustration and confusion in that I don't know what to do, and this is throwing off all of my plans. I don't know if I'm going to meet my savings goals. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go home and see my family this year. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take the trip I've wanted to take for 10 years. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the hobbies and the self-development that I wanted to focus on this year. I don't know if I should even keep practicing my French because am I going to France? Who knows? I don't know a lot of things. I don't know if unemployment is going to give me enough money that I can get through these months. I don't know. But on top of that layer is a layer of self-confidence. I'm not the first person in the world to get laid off. And this is not the first disappointment or disruption to my plans that I've ever experienced. So I know from my experience and from the collective experiences of other people that I will be okay. And not only will I be okay, but I will come out on top. Things will end up better for me than they ever would have been otherwise. I just need to figure out how to get to that point. But luckily, I can afford myself a little bit of time to do that. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, share it with a friend, help me get closer to my goal of 1,000 subscribers and the monetization of this little channel. I want to thank you guys so much for watching all throughout 2022 and now today as well. I hope that this video greets you well. I hope that you are all feeling well. I know that we're all a little scared of 2023 and that my story is not making it much better. But this could still be our year. this isn't the end of the world. It's January. I have 12 months to figure this out and have a comeback. We'll have a comeback. We will get there. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all next time. And until then, whenever that is, because I don't know if I'll be uploading every week anymore. But until then, toodaloo.